to my first video of Stepford County Railway Transport Edition, and today we're doing secrets of the Whitefield Line. Now the Whitefield Line runs from, here's the map. We'll start at Whitefield, we'll then go to Horton Rake, Woodhead Lane, Horton Rake, Woodhead Lane. We'll then arrive at Stepford UFC, where things have changed. Whitefield Lido, which is also that Whitefield Line. Stepford High Street, Stepford Park, Stepford Town, overground parts only, as Stepford Town looks exactly like Stepford Park, although it's supposed to be called Stepford Central. Hallam Square, Stepford Victoria, and then University Campus, which is very close to University, except doesn't have an exit. So Whitefield's quite dull, has no exit. The only way to exit, Whitefield is basically very close to Newry, being only right over there, except it's very far into the point, so we won't talk about that until, well, later. A station which has an entrance on the Whitefield Line is Horton Rake. Quite at stake to me. Also, Whitefield gets a 5 out of 10. Good rating for the average. So, Horton Rake looks very similar to its original form, except it's owned by an underground service. Has no yellow line. So the Whitefield Line is operated on 1973 and 1995 stock trains. This is not SCR Legacy, and this is not the old Metro. Horton Rake gets a 3 out of 10. Woodhead Lane Station is another station which doesn't have an exit. Can't even change platforms. This is basically just like University Campus and Stepford Park and Stepford Central Station. Also, Stepford Park is very close to Stepford. Woodhead Lane gets a 1 out of 10 because I have no words. Except that this gets a 1 out of 10, has a lot of bushes around, and still didn't manage to keep a real second. At Stepford UFC, things get a lot better, as all of the ratings were either average or below. And yes, Stepford UFC, very good. There's a crossover to the platforms, except you won't need to cross over to the platforms, because this is a whole station. And it's an underpass, so this definitely gets an above average 1 rating. Has stadium steps to really help you know that this is actually home to a stadium, which is basically stored right behind these buildings. Yeah, this is it. Oh no, there it is. Hold on. Got confused with buildings there. There's a stadium. So this gets a 7 out of 10, even because the platforms don't have any safety, except down here. Look, if you go down here, fall on the track, go down here, and you'll be okay. 7 out of 10. At Whitefield Lido, you'll see the abandoned tram line, station is just like Stepford UFC, but it's more higher, more decent, more safe. Except you won't be able to get back. Except if you go down here, you won't be seeing the platform anytime soon. So until you go through a risk of this. So this gets a 6 out of 10. It's very close to average. The best thing about High Street Station is that its sign shows that it's very old. And if you go through here, it's very dark. You'll see that you just have no words, but I do have a few words. My words are: the shelter is perfect. The safety isn't there. The lamps really light up the station. Very good. And they have good proximity to Stepford East. Good relation to the rest of the Whitefield Line. This gets a 9 out of 10. Let me just make sure that it's not any lower. Yes, a 9 out of 10. I sure do wish I could walk to Stepford East, but sadly, that's why I'm not pausing this, since Stepford East is very close to Stepford Central. Very close to High Street. No, not Stepford East, Stepford Park. Stepford Park. I'm very sorry, everybody. I'll have to pause it now. The dullest station on this route. Stepford Park. So guys, Stepford Central is up ahead, but we won't be going to the underground platform since it looks exactly the same. And we can't even go through the underground platform, which is basically why they made Stepford Park the same. Stepford South is close by. Being served by Connect, when the Stepford Underground came, it really improved. But this gets a 3 out of 10, since there'll be a big gap quite unexpected. Also, the only depot on the Whitefield Line is High Street Depot. High Street Depot, everybody. Oh no, there's also another one. High Street Depot and Whitefield, which is actually Stepford UFC Depot. So guys, before I go to the next station, only a small percent of you know about this game. But I can't put the link in the description because I don't know how, and it's on Roblox. So basically, this game is called Stepford. Just type SCR and you'll see a game which says SCRTE on it, and that's a game that I'm playing right now. Stepford Park gets a rating 8 out of 10. As it is very detailed. It has a lot of lighting. There's a big gap, which is basically why I gave it an 8 instead of a 10. So guys, I did pause it a few seconds ago, but I did stop talking a few seconds ago. Well, okay. So come to terms with Stepford Central Station because of its very close proximity to Beacon Station. And it seems like Stepford Central's entrance has been switched the other way in this. Anyway, have a good pass. stations, Hersham and Trency, also Melcastle turn back. Not supposed to stop at. Two new stations on high speed, which are called Dale and Queensgate. The metro platforms are basically somewhere there, but again, not going to same step as Victoria. And there's a blue thing resembling Connect, but not resembling high speed and Airlink. Except Airlink doesn't exist here, it's Stepford East Coast. See, it's missing a part which are Stepford Airport Parkway, Stepford Airport Central Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. Whitefield Square, which is the only station which is small that's in the middle of the platform. But what you didn't know is that it has full lighting. Lights everywhere. Also, you still need a very big speed to approach the station. Except some of the physics updates came in this game recently. Every game has been updated in Roblox, even my current game called Bankster. It's actually made on my laptop. Was even updated only 1 day after it came out. Because there were new tunnels featured in Bankstead, and guess what? There were 2 of them. And sorry, I copied and pasted them. Train fans and bus fans, let me clarify to you that in between trains and trams, Stepford Victoria is kind of known in this as well, and also Stepford Central. Hallam Square has an abandoned tram stop. And no, I'm not lying. I'll show you. After we see what's actually leaking behind Stepford Victoria. So everybody, only a small percent of you know the old Stepford Victoria, since a small percent of you are actually as old as SER. I've been playing SER for 5 years, and for 2 years the Stepford Victoria was around. Except for the next 3 years, which is the new versions now. As you can see, the tunnel even continues. Where does that lead? Obviously Willowfield. I'm going the wrong way, and it leads to University, which is also used by Tramlink. But let me explain where Tramlink is at Stepford Victoria, and then we'll move on to Hallam Square. touch the grass in this game, you're allowed to touch the grass in any game. Unless it's a game which is called Don't Touch the Grass. Basically, in this grassland, basically a wasteland, you'll find Hallam Square. The problem is, Hallam Square is just a building which is shaped like a square. It's actually a cuboid shape. So basically, sometimes you find buildings which are halfway in the ground, windows halfway in the ground. More buildings which are not in the ground, which are very refurbished. Sorry, my fan is acting up today. Sorry if I didn't keep navigation of Hallam Square. It must have removed it, but you can still see it in a game called SCR Legacy. Tramline section, there's a line called Stepford Victoria to Stepford Central. So they removed this. I'm doing this for 4 minutes anyway, but let's go to the last stop, which is University Campus. And hopefully this video will be 20 minutes long. Sorry about that. We're at University Campus. Very weird station, fully underground, and no relation to any other operator. Except the Whitefield Line has relation to Connect, obviously. There's nothing here. Also, I forgot to give my rating. Hold on. So for Stepford Central, I would give a 7 out of 10. Yes, but how could it be lower than Stepford Park and the same as Stepford UFC? This is because that Stepford Central is basically having a big space for only 2 operators and a small space for 1. And a very small space for 1. So 7 out of 10 for me. Stepford Hallam Square, that's a 10 out of 10. I really liked it. Stepford Victoria, I'll give it a thorough 5. Thorough 5, just like Whitefield. And University Campus, I'll give it a 10. Yeah. University Campus has full lighting, all signs filled, full yellow line, good old Stillman still didn't manage to fix the bars, arches, architecture, and a roof, and a brick roof. So that gives us a 9 score. Now let's review the scores. So for Whitefield we have a 5 out of 10. For Horton Wick we had a 3 out of 10. For Woodhead Lane we had a 1 out of 10. The first 3 odd numbers are there. For Stepford UFC we have a 7 out of 10. For Whitefield Lido I have a 6 out of 10. For High Street, we have a 9 out of 10. For Stepford Park, we have an 8 out of 10. For Stepford Central, we have a 7 out of 10. For Hallam Square, we have a 10 out of 10. For Stepford Victoria, we have a 5 out of 10. And University Campus, another 9 out of 10. So that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and next time we'll be doing secrets of the Newry line, Esterfield Mall to Newry.